Welcome to the Not Superheroes Just Dads podcast. No, we can't fly. No, we can't shoot lasers or pick up giant buildings. But what we can do is help set the foundations for our families, be presents for our kids, and combat generational cycles. On this podcast, we dive into everything dad related, from the struggles we deal with as fathers to what our favorite thing to barbecue is. Hello, I am Sean Laurie. I hope you guys are doing well today. Before we get into it, of course, like always, make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend. I appreciate the support. And today, guys, I'm excited. I'm thankful to have Shy's very own. And no, it's not my boy Lamar, because y'all might be, oh, Lamar. No, it's actually my other boy, Jamoy. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate the invite. I know we've been trying to get this done for a little bit, but
Yeah,
timing is everything. So now's a good time, man. I appreciate the invite.
yeah, man. You making me look jealous. You look kind of fresh with the beard, and you know what I mean. I'm
Uh,
like, damn.
you know what's funny? Back in my heyday, so I used to be a barber back in my
Oh, let's
heyday
go.
before I got into like my whole little career thing. But
Yeah,
so I know we're gonna get into like my background, where I came from, and all that kind
yeah.
of stuff. But yeah, originally Southside Chicago, born and raised. But I did spend a good amount of time in Southern California.
Mm.
So this is an inside thing, but this is how I know a lot of people that are in these debates and stuff like that. Right. So, but no, when I was in high school, dude, I used to like cut the whole basketball team hair, cut the whole football team hair. Security guards would take me out of class and take me in the theater to like cut their hair. But this was like a high school hustle kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But no, we'll get into it.
So you been making money, brother. You was
A
making money.
little bit, man. I mean, this was when you would spend money to get burnt CDs and
That's true. That's
buy
true.
little stuff like that. But yeah, but
That's
I flipped
dope.
the script. Man. I'm in a whole different genre right now, man. I'm actually in technology.
That's dope.
Yeah,
Really?
I work for. I don't know if you heard, but I actually work for Meta. Well, Facebook.
Oh shoot, for real?
Yeah, man, I've been with them. I've been with. So it's funny when I got hired there, it was Facebook. So you know how we flipped the script and now it's
Yeah.
Meta. But I've been with I'll say Meta, but I've been with Facebook for 5 years
Oh
now.
dang.
So it's cool. It's cool, man. I mean, they treat me fine. You
So
know what I
you so
mean?
you
And
the
it's
reason why all my stuff been getting stolen. You
nah.
stealing all.
You know what's funny, dude? Somebody thought that I had something to do with that. I don't even. That's more of the business side. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
legit only on the technology side. I
yeah.
only work with like engineers, machine learning people, you developers, stuff like that. So when people hit me up and they're like, "Hey, dude, somebody has my name on Instagram. You think you can change it for me?" And I'm like, "Nah, bro, that's not what I'm on." But yeah, but no, but it's cool though, man. So yeah.
That's dope. That's dope, man. No, that's now I know what to who to blame. I'm just playing. No, I'm just joking with you. Joking
Yeah.
with you, man. No, with that being said, man, yeah, I did. You being from Chicago, which is pretty dope. We hear things from Chicago, good and bad.
Sure.
But I wanted to kind of share some light on that. I guess first, I want to just know, because you say you was born and raised in Chicago, Southside.
Southside, yes,
So
sir.
just a little bit then, like what did that look like? What was your upbringing? I have two questions. First is more so like your upbringing, what that looked like, and then the biggest difference you think from then to now, as far as the dynamic when it comes to raising a family.
So, what I would say, being young growing up in Chicago, you are somewhat oblivious to what's really going on. You know what I mean? Like, for example, when I grew up, we didn't have much, right? But since I was living in it, I thought that we had everything that we needed. But now that
Mm.
I'm grown, I'm like, yo, my kids are so spoiled. You know what I mean? Like me and my brother sharing shoes, right? Like having two or three pants to wear like during the week and trying to flip it up so the fit looked decent
Yeah,
compared to like now. But I would say like, dude, I don't know. I mean, I guess as a kid, you're a little oblivious to the fact that, as far as your environment. But now that I'm grown, I can look back and say, like, yo, it was crazy. Can we curse? I don't want to, though.
yeah. No, if that's how you gotta get it off, brother, get it
Okay,
off.
cool. It'll be in the syntax of the conversation.
Yeah.
But so I remember, I'm trying to think the first time I remember something bad happening. Dude, I had to be like 6 years old, right? And this
Yeah.
is when I was living on, I want to say 71st and Parnell. Like this is Southside, right? So we're there, and like all of our neighbors were cool, but our next door neighbors, they were like some older guys, right? And they would always say, "Hey, come over, play basketball, da 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 da." We barbecuing, and my dad used to always say like, "Hey, don't talk to them." You know, parents know best. You know, at that time, you don't really know like, yo, why my dad hating, or he's cool. Like I like Bishop, he's cool, right? But no. So and I remember, time passed. We're living next to him. Dude, we're on our way to go to school the next day, right? Me and my brother, little sister, police out, everything. The guys who lived in that house, they killed everybody in the house. And
Wow.
yeah, everybody in the house. They found out who did it, but I'm like, wow, like we were just talking to those dudes. Like, you know what I mean? So that's when I'm like, everybody's not good. Like, you know what I'm saying? But Chicago, it's tough, but it's also beautiful. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it does build good character.
Yeah.
So I would say like I'm able to distinguish the difference as far as living here, but also living in California. You know what I'm saying? And I also think what let me get by living in California is because I was more mutual. Like for example, like I got a bunch of family in LA. Like they're all in like Linwood and Carson and Compton and all that. So I remember we came to visit California. I was in like 10th grade, and we did everything we can do. We went to Disneyland. We went to Disneyland. We went to Universal. We did everything, right? And then my mom was like, "Hey, do you guys want to move out there?" And we are like, "Yeah, like it's fun out here, right?" You know what I mean? So, and then when we moved out there, shortly but surely, I realized, oh, I'm not gonna be going to Disneyland every day, and I'm not gonna be. So I kind of had to be in the environment. But it was so funny, like my cousins telling me what colors I can't wear. And I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, like I'm from Chicago. I'm a Bulls fan. I wear red. The Cubs are literally red and blue. Like I'm wearing whatever I want to wear. So like people would press me, but it was like they were like, "Where you from?" Like I'm from Chicago, bro. Like I don't know about this blood crip thing. Like game banging is a little bit different out here. Like there's no bloods, there's no crips. So I literally had on like an all red hoodie earlier this morning, right? And no one's gonna be looking at you. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, but as far as like the good side of it, right? Like, dude, the people, very genuine, right? Like I've
Mhm.
seen both sides. Like, dude, to me, like California is still my second home. But though those people out there, they're kind of Hollywood, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like somebody
Yeah.
tell you, "Yo, I'm about to call you. We finna go do this," or they'll lie, and it's like, bro, like I was with you yesterday. You did not do that yesterday. Like we were together, right? But I would say, the caveat of that is being able to see both sides. So when I moved back, I was cultured a lot differently. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I seen things a little bit more serious because California. I mean, the pace is slower, but it does give you time to actually sit back and think as far as like what your next moves are gonna be, or what you want to plan to do for the future. So I love California, bro. But Chicago is home. I kind of got tired of it being not cold for the winter. Like I like the four seasons. I like to dress up, wear jackets, coats, boots, and stuff like that. But dude, next week is gonna be like 4 degrees, so I'm not too excited about that at all.
Yeah, that's wild. That's
Tough.
4 degrees. I'm yeah. That's not. I'm not about that life at all. Now it
Yeah.
is funny because you caught my attention when you said because you said California is slower, which is I never hear that. I always hear like California is fast paced. So compared to Chicago, so that means Chicago must be really just
It's
fast
it's
paced like that.
hustle bustle, man. Hustle bustle. I mean, Chicago is considered to be more like New York. You know what I
Okay.
mean? For the
Okay.
simple fact, skyscrapers, downtown, trains, buses, Ubers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you do not need a car. I mean, because I lived in California, I got a few cars, but like here, like I literally have a car. I drive to the train station and take the train like downtown to work, right?
Oh
So
dang.
it is fast paced. It is. I mean, people walk fast. You know what I mean? You got to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
out the
Yeah.
way. People honking horns. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on, man. So your eyes, you got to be on the swivel, man, because
Mm.
it's Chicago, man.
No,
So
it's Chicago. I mean, and I am thankful, that you didn't have no bad encounters when you used to wear your red and hats and
oh, it was
stuff
some
like that.
encounters, bro. It was some encounters, bro. But
Oh,
I guess by the graces of God, like nothing crazy happened or
yeah,
whatever, or
yeah.
just. But dude, what? dude. So no, California is different. So dude, it's
I was
funny,
about to
dude.
say, because yeah, this.
California is different, man. I remember one time, me and my buddy, we were going to a party, and these dudes, bro, they like came to the car. It was like, where y'all from? And so while my homie is trying to talk to him, like, bro, like, let's go in the party or whatever, right? So they like pressing him. He's like linked up on the car like this, right? And I don't know if because I'm like bigger, like they wasn't pressing me. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So we go in the party, dude. Maybe five. You know who was in this party? Orlando Brown.
Really?
Orlando Brown was in this party, bro. So we're in this party, maybe 5 minutes, dude. Someone come to the door and they just started shooting in the party. Like a girl got shot, a dude got shot in the leg. We're jumping fences. We jumped this old man's fence and he came out with a gun. Like it was crazy. So no, I don't get it twisted. Like it's
Okay.
crazy everywhere, but I
Yeah.
just feel like how dense it is in Chicago. You just hear them more. And you can fact check me, but Chicago is a very segregated city, right?
Mm.
So, for example, per capita, right? I think last year and previous years before, Chicago has had more murders than Los Angeles and New York combined.
Dang.
And we're not that big of a. I mean, we're a big city, but to have more murders than two big cities, like it's a problem, bro. And I think it's with the like judicial system. The cops are corrupt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could tell you some stories about some cops, bro, but it's different out here, bro. It's
Mm.
grimy city, man. Grimy
Yeah.
city. Yeah.
So how do you navigate through that with like you said you was kind of oblivious to now obviously you got kind of a I guess a rude awakening at a young age at 6 right find out right but how do you kind of protect your kids because you have two kids I think
Dude, yep, I have a
two
boy.
kids right yeah a boy and a girl right so how do you protect your daughter and obviously your son as well just making sure that they're okay because like you said they're not only hey you got to watch your back when it comes to certain things that's happening in the streets but now when your son does start driving hey you got to be careful with these cops too.
Yep, yeah, no, for sure, 1,000%. I would say for me, and I think you were mentioning this too, right? Like, I don't talk to, so my son's 12. I don't talk to him like he's 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I talk to him like he's a young adult, which he's actually gonna be. So I am very upfront and blunt with him. Like, literally, if we're in the city, and like people still hang out in Chicago, and I think that's a real reason why the violence is bad. Like that phrase, "I'm outside."
Yeah.
People are outside out here. Like literally, there will be a corner with 20 guys chilling, like outside. Like, bro, why are they outside? But anyway, like I try to expose him to it and just let
Yeah.
him know, like, bro, that's not what you want to be. You know what I mean? Like when you have like people outside the stores and they're asking for change. And I'm like, yo, do you think he made the right decisions or do you think he made the
Mm.
wrong decisions? Because everyone could kind of fall back on on bad times and everything,
Yeah.
but realistically, do you think they made the right decisions or do you think they made the wrong decisions, right? And what type of decisions are you gonna make? And I like to think as a role model, right? For me, like for example, like dude, I work for Facebook. If I had anything on my record, like we wouldn't be able to live like the way that we do, and as far as them being privileged and unfortunately spoiled because they get everything they want, dude. Like Christmas comes up, I'm like, me and my wife are like, like what do they need, right? Like our family members are like, do they need anything for Christmas? And it's like, not really.
Not
You know what I'm
really.
saying? So, but yeah, man, I don't know. I just would say being very honest with them, right? But
Yeah.
also trying to keep them in that bubble, dude. Like at the same time, because before we got on this, I told you that I don't know if I told you this, dude. But like for example, you hear gunshots, right? I remember so I'm not sure if you're familiar with the city, but so I had a condo on 47th in Michigan. Okay,
Hmm.
I'm sorry, 40. Actually, I had a condo on 47th in Michigan too, but my most recent condo was on 47th in King Drive. Okay, so we are split up into blocks. Literally, it's 46, 47, 48, 49, and then all the way back down, right? So I'm not sure if you're familiar with like King Von and all that. So
I don't, but those that's from Chicago
that's
or listening, they'll know.
The YNs. No, I'm joking. But so literally, they're O Block. Let's just say O Block. O Block is literally on 64th and King, and I lived on 47th and King. So how many blocks is that? 15 blocks or something like that.
Yeah.
47 to 64, and literally we're talking street blocks, right? You know what I mean? So like we were close enough to the mess, but fur enough to where it's not every night kind of thing going on. But no, there's been numerous of times where it's like, we'll hear gunshots, and my son's like, "What's that?" And I'm trying to keep him in a bubble, like, "Oh, no, those are just fireworks, right?" But
Yeah.
knowingly, like, it's going down over here right now,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, but I try to keep him in a bubble, but also just let him be aware of his surroundings and things like that. But yeah,
Now, do you think it's difficult? Because I just seen that story a little while ago, which is sad. I think you saw it too with the young kid that was playing basketball, did a rap diss or something and died. I don't even know where he was from. I
Philly.
don't
I
know,
think it was Philadelphia.
Philadelphia,
I
right?
think it was Philadelphia.
Um,
Philadelphia's
and
crazy too, but yeah.
and I think he was like I think he was like highly recruited or highly looked at too or something like that.
Yeah,
I just know he was really talented. I know they said that.
I seen something. He'd had like the highest SAT scores like in the school,
That's crazy.
and he was scouted, but a lot of that has to do with like peer pressure, man, and just
Mm,
influence around like friends and stuff like that.
yeah,
And they did it in front of his mother.
really.
Yeah, they said the video came out one day, and then the next morning she was getting ready to take him to school, and they tracked him down in the alley and did that to the young man. So, see, stuff like I hate stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sad, and unfortunately, that happens to us a little bit more often than other races and stuff like that. But it's sad, man. But I don't know. I look at it too, like I was young at one moment too. Like, and I have these conversations like with my friends now.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember, and a lot of this was in California too, though, right? But, when I was young, dude, I don't know. I just kind of had this vendetta against other young black men, just like
Mm,
don't look at me, or you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
what are they looking at? Like I'm down for
Yeah.
whatever, right? And I think that's because your brain doesn't develop until you get to like a certain age.
Yeah.
So being 17, he probably doesn't think he's doing anything wrong. Hey, I'm just doing a rap diss and playing around with guns, but I mean, you see the
Yeah.
results, so it's sad, man. But yeah,
Now, because you made a good point too, like, right, like where it's almost like you're angry. Do you think it's more so like the environment, the culture? Because, right, being from California, obviously I live in Texas now, but I've shared this with a couple people. When I first moved out here, I had to kind of like chill out because I'm kind of on 10 still. I'm kind of looking just like, okay, what's
right, yeah,
up?
woo, go
You know
keep
what I'm
going.
saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so like I'm literally on alert, like, okay, what's happening here? Now, is that still in me? Yes, of course.
for sure,
But
for
I'm
sure.
not I didn't I forgot who it was. It was someone told me before. I think I was taking like my son to when I first got out here to like the gym or whatever, and they're like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm good." They're like, I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Cause like just like your
Face,
demeanor,
demeanor,
your face, all
yeah,
that." So he's like, "It's not like that out here." I'm like, "Oh, it's not," because I'm used to, like you said, other black people tripping on me or Hispanics tripping on me, right?
right,
Depending on what
right.
part you're at. So it was like I have family in LA, but I'm from the IE as y'all know. And depending on where you at, it could be San Bernardino, Rialto, shoot, Riverside, Moreno Valley. It's
Bro, I went to
just
Rialto, bro. Trust me.
oh you okay, so you know Rialto, you know how that go. You
Yeah,
know how
for
that go.
sure, for
The
sure.
toll for sure is crazy.
Yeah,
But so just different things like that where I'm constantly on 10, just on alert, shoot. And I trained myself where it's like you said, I've been to a few parties where it was gonna get shot up. I started to recognize, oh, let's go right now. Wait, why
spider
you
senses go up,
like
right?
yeah, I'm just hey, let's go. They're like, why are we leaving? Stop asking questions, let's go. We leaving right when we driving off. Bah, bah, bah.
The
Like
vibe is funny. Yeah,
I already
no,
knew what was happening, right? So why do you think that is though? Why do you think? Because like I said, I had to learn, and it was a struggle, bro. I had to learn to be like, you know what I mean? Like it's
put your
good. Like
guard down a
hey,
little bit.
yeah, just a little bit, you know.
Yeah, a little bit. Dude, to be honest with you, man, I think a lot of it, I don't want to get on any conspiracy stuff, man. Obviously, a lot of it is just being a product of your environment because you've seen things happen to your friends, right?
Yeah,
Wrong place, wrong time. But also, bro, oppression is a real thing, bro. Like it messes with your mindset, and especially if you're young. A lot of people don't have any value of life because
Mm,
they see the way that people are getting treated, so they don't care. You know what I mean? Like, dude,
yeah.
honestly, here in Chicago, no, bro. I guess I could talk about it now. So, I got a
Yeah, I'm
boy.
like, just don't say no names, brother. We
I'm
gonna
not
get
gonna say
out.
no names. I'm not gonna say no names. I got a boy, man. He was like in my wedding. Okay, grew up together, and I'm maybe a month or two, a few months older than him. So I would say he looks up to me, but not physically because he's like 6'4". He's a dog, right?
Yeah,
But like growing up, Blockbuster, Sega, go to each other house, all that. When I moved to California, bro, like I'm telling you, I slowed down a lot because I didn't
mm,
really have any enemies, right? But I would also say that kind of made things kind of funny because like I can get away with stuff because they didn't think it was necessarily me. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Dude, I come back and they're on the same stuff, same neighborhood, but
Mm,
now we're playing with guns, right? Like, so man, this dude, you know how people say they know killers? Like I
yeah.
know killers. Bro, this dude, man, he would tell me something that's going on. So, I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Google it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah.
looking it up and it's like detail by detail, like stuff that this man did. So anyway, with all that being said, like he's a product of his environment. So for example, he's in jail right now for murder, right?
Mm,
And he actually, dude, he killed somebody that we grew up with, bro.
wow.
Somebody that we grew up with. I don't know. And dude, I mean, the crazy story about it is I remember when it happened, right?
Yeah,
I'm watching the news. I call him, right?
yeah,
Because, this is our guy. I
yeah,
call him. I'm like, yo, you heard about Whoop De Bam? He
yeah.
was like, yeah, that's messed up. I'm like, yo, what was he into? He was like, you know how it is out here. He didn't really say much about it, so I
He
didn't really say
just
much.
act like, oh yeah, things
I didn't say
happen.
much about it, right? A year and a half passed, right? I'm still
Wow.
talking to this dude because this is my guy, right?
Yeah,
I'm at the park with my kids, bro. Like pushing my daughter on the swing, and I got a call and it was from like, jail. I'm like, I'll check it later. Check the voicemail, it's him. So I'm like, okay, what happened? So then I'm doing research to see like what really happened. So I found it on like Google, and he was the one who killed the dude that we grew up with. And I asked the guy, I asked him about it. He was just like, you know how it is out here. You know what I mean? So that's another thing. You got to watch your circle too, though.
mm,
And I'm not saying like this is one of my best friends and everything like that,
yeah,
but I kind of operated with him on afar. You know what I mean? Just because
yeah,
I'm not into that stuff that I used to be in,
yeah,
back in the day. And, even with him, he would say, hey, if you want to kick it, bro, don't come back to the hood. Like, let's go in the city or some kind of organized environment. So he was mature enough to, like, let me know, like, bro, it ain't the same, bro, like how it was when we
yeah,
was growing up. And he know I've changed, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
sad when people don't change, bro, and they're still into, like, their same stuff. But I just
Mm,
think it's being a product of your environment, man, to be
yeah.
honest with
Now that's you said something that really stuck to me too because I know it's like that in Cali, so I'm pretty sure it's like that in Chicago too, where the environment they're in, they never even go out of their city or even hey, I pretty much stay from this area to this area. Like I'm not going no further out,
you.
right? And do you think that's also a reason why at times they can't? Like you said, you went to California, you
I
came back to
escaped for a minute.
Chicago.
Yes,
Yeah, right. So you got to go out. You got to you got to see a different
for
side of
sure.
different things. And when you came back or whatever, he's like, "Dang, you changed. Like not in a negative way, but you're
Yeah,
more
you're
mature.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're different, right? So do you think that would help as well as if they're able to see because it might be one of those things, especially when you're young, you might not think you have no other option. You know what I mean? Because, and I know you can tell me if I'm wrong because I'm not from Chicago, but I hear a lot of times from Chicago, it's pretty much rap or basketball, right? It's like there's not even really no other option they think of, or obviously the streets. So like
right.
those three type of things, but it's no, hey, yeah, I'm gonna be a doctor. Hey, I'm about to be this. I'm like, those options aren't really not that they're not available, but they're not
They're not widely
or
available.
talked about. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I mean, that's unfortunately that's true, right? But I think a lot of it has to do with your upbringing. So you think about it from generation to generation. Like grandmothers aren't grandmothers anymore, right? Like
Mm.
grandmothers now are 40. And I don't know how old you are, but we're damn near 40. Like you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
grandmothers are 40. So, and I talk about my guys about this all the time. Like just the influence isn't there anymore. Like, like these young dudes' mom, they listen to Young Dirk and they listen to King Von and you know what I mean? But as far
yeah.
as like getting out of your environment, no, it really doesn't happen. And I could do it both ways. I remember I was at a barber shop in Long Beach, right? I'm in Cali.
Yeah.
And, we up there with my cousin or whatever. And they were talking about this one barber because, they were saying, like, yeah, this is party going on in Compton. And then he was like, he ain't going. He was like, he never been outside of Long Beach. You know what I
Oh,
mean? And,
man. Yeah.
Compton is right next to Long Beach.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what I mean?
crazy. Yeah.
And, like, in Chicago, bro, like, so we have four sides, right? You got the South Side, that's D Rose side, right? You got the West Side. I would say that's Isaiah Thomas and Pat Bev, but we talked about that. And
Yeah.
then like the North Side, that's what's his name, Polo G. And then you got the East Side, right? There's literally people that never been on the other side of town. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like on the West Side of Chicago. And like me, when I first moved back to Chicago, I was on the low end, but this is like the 40s, right? So I'm on the low
Mhm.
end. I worked up north. I worked on the north side of Chicago. So I'm like, oh wow. And remember, it's segregated. So it's like, wow, it's all white people up here, right?
Yeah.
Compared to the south side. So I worked on the north side. I lived on the west side for like 4 years, right? And then I also lived on the east side, like next to Lake Michigan. So, like, and I just think that's me being in California, like how spread out it is. Like, I don't
Yeah.
need to be in one section. So I get to see other things like, okay, the west side is, I mean, it gets crazy on the west side, but it's a lot more chill than the south side, right?
Yeah.
And then the east side is crazy, but technically the east side is still south because it's south of the city. And then the north side, it can still go down up there, but it's kind of chill. But you know Eli, right? Eli's from the north side.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Eli, my guy Eli's from
Yeah.
the north
Shout out to
side. But
Eli.
it goes down on the north side of Chicago. So,
Oh,
but these people, they don't even see the other sides, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's a story, right? You know Young Chop,
yeah.
the producer.
Yeah.
When they were first getting on, I thought this was crazy, bro. When they were first getting on, like the whole 300 Chief Keef or whatever, they were doing an interview on him, and he went downtown to look at some of the like touristy areas.
Yeah.
This guy said he's never been to the Bean in Chicago. And this is just like a place where all the tourists go in Chicago. And I know he's never left Chicago. And it's 20 minutes away from where he's from. And
Yeah.
that right there was kind of alarming. Like, you never been 20 minutes away from this
That's
section.
crazy. Yeah.
So, yeah, man. But I think it's just been a product of your environment and not being diverse to see other things. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
stuff like that, man. So,
No,
yeah.
that's real, man. Now, because I know I live for those that's from Chicago, they're like, "Dang, y'all bad." I'm not trying to bash the city because I'm sure it's amazing.
No, 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 no. I
Um,
got you with you, bro. I'm embarrassed of you. Yeah.
but what? So, because you moved from Cali to Chicago, so what drew you back to go home and be like, man, this is where I want to raise my family. This is where I want to have my kids, right? And again, I don't look. I'm not saying it as a
No,
negative
that's
either.
a
Like,
good question, dude. You
I'm
just
just curious, you know,
yeah.
curious. Like, hey, I want to go back to my roots. Like, what drew you back to? Because like people out here, like I know like probably 3 4 people I met from Chicago that live out here, and they told me it was just they was going to stay in Chicago or they was in Chicago, but it was like the people they knew were still doing the same thing, was still on the same stuff. So they were like, I want something different, right? And
Yeah.
again, maybe yeah, I'll just ask that. Why? What drew you back? Right? What drew you back to go back home? Are you on the south side as well?
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh, so you're on the south side as well. So you
I'm
went
currently on the
literally where
south.
you grew up, where you was raised.
It's
You
full
went to
circle.
California, came back. Yeah, full
Full
circle.
circle. So you know what? To be honest with you, dude, economically, right? It's better. So you know what it was, dude. When I was living out there, because like I told you, I went to barber school. I did all this stuff, right? And nothing against like barbers, because that I know barbers that's making six figures. Like you know what I mean? Like
Well,
for
yeah,
sure.
it's like $100 for a cut, brother.
Dude, I wouldn't know. Like, dude, no one has cut my hair since I was in barber school, and I was like letting them practice on me, right? But
Yeah,
so like I remember, like I was in California, bro. I feel like I did everything that I can do when I was in California. Like, Vegas is nothing but a few hours away, so I got
yeah,
tired of going to Vegas. You know what I mean? I still go and visit. I come to Cali at least once a year, every year,
yeah.
because my brother he still lives there. And my
Okay.
brother's like, I'm not moving back to Chicago, bro. Like, it's too cold, and I'm just not messing with it. But I would say, to me, bro, I just don't feel like being black, not even to get racial or anything like that,
Yeah,
right? But like, I just don't feel like black people really make it out there. It's either like you're rich or you're not. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And
yeah,
then just like the real estate, for example, like I got a buddy who lived in Compton, 3-bedroom house, right? Gates on the windows, but Compton has changed. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Compton has
yeah.
changed. Hey, how much is your house worth? I think it was like 750, right? 750,000, bro. I have like a 5-bedroom house, bro. Like a fraction of that. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So,
yeah,
I mean, I guess economically it works better, and your dollar does stretch a little bit longer than
mm,
living in California. And
yeah,
then again, I mean, it's just I don't know, man. Like, it's home to me. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I got it tatted, and then I know how to. Anything could happen, but I kind of know how to move out here. Like, I kind of
yeah.
stay out the way where I'm not like I don't know if I was telling you this, right? So like, where we lived before, like my son, dude, he literally learned how to ride a bike in like the parking lot of like a bandit warehouse, like in the city, like on the south side. So but it would get so crazy, we would literally put our bikes in like the truck and drive to the beach, just because we didn't want to learn how to ride bikes up and down the street. Like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
stuff happens, bro. It's just so random, and but I just feel like I do know how to move out
Okay.
here a little bit better. I know where not to go. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because usually the places where it goes down is there's nothing out there anyway. Like, there's food deserts, right? Like, you can be like, if for example Inglewood, where not the Inglewood in Cali, but Inglewood here with the E. So, dude, there's no grocery stores there.
Okay.
There's no malls. So it's like, why am I going to Inglewood? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there's nothing there. So I try to do things where it's family oriented. Or I take my kids, like, we're going to sporting events, and you know what I mean, like where stuff usually doesn't go down. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I like that, man. No, that's a good reason. And you know what I mean? At the end of the day, too, I agree with you as far as California goes, because I've been saying, and some of my people in Cali been, they like, dang, like, no, you was right. Or
right,
they feel I'm right now, where I said, I feel like personally California is getting rid of, there won't be a middle class,
right,
right?
right, right.
It's just, you're doing very well or you're not doing very well at all.
You're
So,
getting by.
yeah, you
Yeah,
know, and so that's why I made the move to Texas like I did. So I definitely agree with you on that.
yeah.
Where your money could definitely stretch and whatever makes sense for you and your family, obviously, right? But I was just curious, just because I'm like, okay, so what brought you back?
And you know what? To kind of touch on what you were saying, because you said there's good, bad, and ugly, right?
Yeah.
And there. To be honest with you, bro, to me, the bad is so extreme that it overshadows the good. You
Mm,
know what I mean? But
yeah.
like, to me, like my wife is really good with this too. So like my wife, she works at the University of Chicago, right? So this is like a prestigious school here in the city. But like we're always doing like things where we can incorporate the kids to actually learn something. So we go to dude, we've been to every museum in Chicago, right? We go to the aquariums. You know what I mean? Like, we're doing stuff like that when it comes to the kids, right? Like later on tonight, I am gonna be in the streets, but I'm with like I'm gonna be with like an older crowd, and we're bringing our wives out, and we're gonna
Yeah.
drink. Like, I'm not going to like the hood, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we kind of go out the way to kind of have our fun in like these little pockets, but
Yeah.
you just got to know your zones and know where you're at, because you're just either lowering or hiring your risk for something to happen. So, Yeah.
True, true. Well, I want to ask you too, just real quick, because I've heard this before. So I've heard Milwaukee is just as bad, if not worse, than Chicago. Is that true?
Um, I mean, no. I don't know. So, I mean, you know what it is? Milwaukee. I'm not gonna, cause actually, I got family. Dude, Milwaukee's like an hour and a half away, right?
Okay.
So they say Milwaukee and Detroit. That's like the little Chicago, right? Because there is some like influence there,
Yeah.
but I just feel like per capital, Chicago just has so many people that more things happen frequently. But to be honest with you, it's the same in every urban neighborhood, dude.
Yeah.
Like Philadelphia, it's crazy. It's crazy parts in Detroit. It's crazy parts in Indiana, Milwaukee, St. Louis gets really bad. Like you know what I mean? Like
No matter
so
where you go. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I just think it's because it's so dense in Chicago because a lot of people don't even know Chicago's in Illinois, right? Like
Mm,
like when you
true.
think
That's
about
true.
Chicago, you think it's a state, but
Yeah.
literally Chicago is a city. No one talks about anything outside of like
That's true.
Chicago, but within Chicago, I think dude, I want to say the Chicagoland area and the surrounding cities, it's maybe 3 4 million people just in
Mm,
that just
yeah.
in that zone, right? So it just raises the risk for more things to happen more frequently
Yeah.
versus being in places that are a little bit more spread out and things don't happen as often, but yeah.
No, I like that, man. So, what would you, as we get ready to close out, then, what would you say to someone that's not even if they're not even in Chicago,
Anywhere, right?
but any type of uh, neighborhood where it's it gets a little dicey at times, right? Or they're close to that. They might not even be in that, but it's just close to that. What would you say to them as a father to just be aware of or pay attention to make sure their kids aren't influenced in that, right? Because like you said, when we're young, one we think we're invincible. Let's be honest, like
True.
nothing bad ever gonna happen,
You
right?
just gotta
Like
watch out for dogs, loose dogs, but yeah.
yeah, like that's like okay, like yeah, the homie's playing with a gun, but he not gonna shoot me by accident or something. You know what I mean? Like nothing's gonna happen like that. So what would you say, especially right with this rap culture, with and you having a daughter with this Ice Spice? Even though I joked with my daughter, I told her because when Ice Spice was blowing up, I was like, oh, that's an industry plan. She gonna be gone in like a year or so. You think so, Dad? I was like, yeah. Then I recently was like, what happened? She's like, yeah, you
She's
right.
gone.
She's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
she's
yeah,
gone.
so she did her job. She made sure that she kind of poisoned the youth a little bit, and then she
Yeah.
dipped off. So what would you say, man? What is something you can just say to encourage or something?
No, for sure. Like, and I want to be positive because I would like to think like you and I are blessed and we're able to give our kids a little bit more than some people that are less fortunate.
Yes.
But to me, I just feel like when you have kids and they're in these environments, or even if they're not in environments, because you don't want them to start veering left and, not being on their P's and Q's. But I would just say, activities, man, extracurriculum. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like, and really just wing them onto things like, dude, my son, so I mean, dude, my son has dreads, like, you know what I mean? And it's so funny. I try to vicariously live through him because, dude, like, I'm a sneakerhead. I'll get him Jordans what he don't even wear. He wants to wear New Balance. He wants to wear Asics, and so I
you want to
vicariously
be
live through
comfortable. I like that.
yeah, no, yeah, it's funny, man. But to be honest with you, I would just say keeping them in activities like, dude, my son, he plays chess, he can fix a Rubik's cube. We put him in swimming lessons. He does football. I'm just trying to think. He's in after school programs.
Yeah.
He makes T-shirts with his after. So you got to keep them in activities. And even like my daughter, she's I think I was telling you I'm trying to get her out the house. So she's at her friend's party, but today she's already done. It's Saturday afternoon. She's already done tumbling and majorette.
Mm,
She just did the high school basketball game halftime show. She's done Chicago Sky games. So we actually got free tickets when the Fever was here to play
yeah.
the Chicago Sky with Caitlin Clark or whatever. And it's so funny, dude. It was more Caitlin Clark fans here in Chicago, but I'm gonna tell you why though. You think about it like this: she plays in Indiana, right?
Yeah.
She went to Iowa. Illinois is right in the middle. So
Yeah.
they came out, but I just think it's keeping your kids busy so they don't, get mixed up into all the mess that's going on outside. But like I said, that's me speaking from a more blessed perspective. You know what I mean? That I can, because I mean, it costs money to
Yeah,
do all these
of
things. You
course.
know what I mean? But I would just say keeping your kids busy is probably the best way to, keep them out of a lot of things that happens when there's idle time on their hands. But yeah,
No, I like that, bro, and well, I'll just piggyback off what you said too, because that's true. Like some of these things do cost money, but spending time is free,
you're right. You're
right?
right. You're right.
So if you just go to Walmart, get a cheap football, cheap excuse me, cheap basketball, go to the park, go to a community center, right, or
Right.
whatever it is, and just hey, shoot the ball around. Hey, you know what? Hey, every Saturday at
Right.
10 o'clock, we gonna go to the park real quick, throw the football. Just little small things, like you said, a chessboard, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
for
I'm
sure.
gonna, I'm gonna play
Yeah.
chess. Hey, we gonna play cards. We get serious over here with Uno, but Uno, right? Uno,
Y'all stack them?
huh?
I say y'all
The
stack
Uno?
cards? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, you have to. Dude, I don't
yeah.
like people who one card at a time. It makes the
No,
game last too long. But yeah,
yeah, no. Uno, yeah, it gets crazy at the home, at the
right.
home here, but
Me, skip you, skip yeah.
yeah. Everybody's getting that work.
Right,
Everybody. But just different things like that, right? And or what we'll do a lot of times too. Like I'm sure we're gonna do it tonight. We'll pick a movie,
hmm
and we'll watch it. We'll watch a movie.
Makes
Like we'll try to do Saturdays or days that they have off. Well,
right.
hey, everyone, we're gonna watch a movie. Now my oldest, she's kind of too cool, so it
Of
varies.
course,
She's
of
19,
course.
so it
Yeah,
depends with her. But even with her, if she's not working or out with her friends, she's watching a movie with us. So just making sure that quality time, I feel
right.
like you said, can help that, right?
It
So
can,
I just
it
want to
can.
piggyback off of that.
No, no, I 100% agree with you, man. I just feel like everyone doesn't put that effort into their family, dude. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, and it's kind of hard to blame. Like, when stuff happens, what you hear a lot here is where their parents at. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like, you hear that a lot. Like, where are their parents? Like, because there's no way my son is gonna be out here doing this and that. Like, dude, I got trackers on my kids. Bro, where are you at, bro? You're 2 minutes outside of where you're supposed to be. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But I just feel like a lot of parents, they're younger now. They don't. I mean, they're too, I guess, indulge in themselves versus putting that investment like in their kids. And just the guidance isn't there, man. So I think that's where a
No.
lot of bad things happen.
No,
For
I agree, bro, and that's why it's so important to one, wait if you can, or make sure you're. No one's ever really ready to have kids, but
right,
try
no,
your best to be when you decide to have a child to really be locked into that child, and I think too that's where it comes from, though, right? If I can't be mad if my son decided he wanted to skip school and I don't know,
do
smoke
whatever,
all day or whatever, right? Something like that, and I get mad, but he's like, Dad, first of all, you don't even work.
bro, bro.
You don't work, and I see you every day smoking.
Right,
So
right, yeah,
why are
yeah,
you? Oh, because boy, right at the end of the day, like it's just gonna be empty words. You know
for
what I
sure.
mean? Our kids are following our example. Every time I'm not the biggest man in the world, but I constantly work out. So when
Right,
I'm doing my pushes work, my son said, "Hey, Dad, look how many I did." Hey, Dad, he starts competing with me. Hey, Dad, I'm
right,
trying to get this up. I'm trying to do. So now he's following my lead, and I'm not even pressing him to. Instead of you better do them push-ups. You better do. He's like,
right.
nah, I see my dad. Oh, my dad's working. He be like, oh, my dad's a coach. My dad works. Oh, man, Dad, I appreciate everything. Like, he sees me
For
out here
sure.
grinding. You know what I mean? Hey, Dad, I might start a podcast. Like, that's what he said, right? So
That's dope. That's
it's,
dope.
it's different things that he's seeing from my lead. So I think we have to make sure we're just being accountable, right? Being accountable as fathers because it really starts with us. If we're not being present, even if we're quote unquote home, but we're not being present,
For sure, for sure.
right?
Yeah,
It's
no, it's a
it's
difference.
gonna fall on us.
I mean, and to kind of touch on what you were saying, dude, kids are so impressionable. Like, you know what I mean? They soak in everything. And like even me, like as a kid, like I did too. Like, so I grew up mom and dad, I was fortunate, right?
Yeah.
Dude, my dad worked so much, right? Until he like burned holes in his shoes, right?
Mm.
And so I remember like, when I was finishing high school, my dad was like, "Hey man," he gave me like an option. You're not going to be sitting at home. You're either going to school or you're going to work. So like I did both. You know what I mean? Like I went to college and like I went to work or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, and I remember my friends like, hey, what you want? I gotta work. I gotta work. I've been working since I was 18, like
Mm.
nonstop, right? And like some of my friends, like the ones who aren't like on the same lane as me, they're like, bro,
Yeah.
you wouldn't stop working if somebody paid you to. I'm like, nah, man, I gotta keep busy and I got people looking at me. You know what I mean? So it's so cool to like take my son to my well, not I don't want to say my son, maybe because I'm a guy and it's difficult raising sons, but it is difficult raising daughters too. But
Yeah.
usually that's when the mother should step in. But it is so cool to take like my kids to my job and let them see like, wow, like you can play ping pong at work, or you know what I mean, or you can do this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but it takes hard work to get there. Don't think anything is going to be given to you. Like I know we give you stuff, but that's not how the world works. So I
Mm.
do try to let my kids suffer a little bit as far as
Yeah.
like when things happen to them. Like, hey, that's life. You know what I mean? Like, everything. Mommy and daddy can't save you all the time, but yeah, just to kind of touch on that a little bit. But yeah,
No, I like that, bro. I like that, man. And I want to obviously appreciate. I want to say I appreciate you, bro, and your time, man. I know, like you said, we've been trying to get this together for a little bit, and
sure.
man, like just again from the outside looking in, you know what I mean. I just love seeing your beautiful family. Love seeing what you're doing, man. And every
Yeah,
time,
you
at least
too,
every
man.
time I've talked to you or seen you, it's always on positive. You never on no negative, BS or nothing like that, man. So just
Right,
keep being an
right, right.
example, bro. Setting the foundation like you've been doing. And shoot, it's dope that I look at like your dad was able to set the foundation, and then you picked up that torch, and now you carrying it, and then you gonna be the pastor to your kids. So that's a beautiful
That's the
thing, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. You too, man. I mean, like, same. Trust me, if you was like one of them other people, like, what? Like, I'm not finna jump on. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta have some credibility with the people that I network with, right? And
Yeah,
this is really what this is all about, networking. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it may be something that you got going on where I'm like, hey, like, what do you know about this? Or vice versa, right?
yeah,
And I know you were saying like you talked to my cousin Dwayne.
yeah.
We were cousins, but it's by marriage. So he's married to my cousin his wife, right?
Okay.
So, his son, he dope in football, which is pretty, what I'm saying, pretty dope, man. But even
Yeah, he be keeping me updated.
yeah, but he moved out of California to Texas, and dude, they got a house built from the ground up, and
Yeah,
that would probably be impossible to do. You know what I mean? In
facts.
California, it's possible, but I don't got 750, man, 650
Yeah,
to build a
nah,
house
it'd
from
be a
the ground
meal
up.
probably.
Yeah, good meal ticket, good meal ticket. We not there yet, but we'll get
Yeah,
there.
yeah, absolutely, man. No, I appreciate you, bro, and yeah, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe. Tell a friend, share like always, and like always, you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be present. See you guys on the next one.